Hey, this is Tom Calvin. Thanks for tuning in to Tomorrow's Legends.
During a trip through time, the Legends were forced to land the Waverider in Blue Valley, Nebraska, where they discovered a young superhero.
Yes.
About to take flight.
That's cool.
Who are you?
I'm Stargirl.
Hello, Cosmic Crew. Winter is coming. And no, it's not a Mad Ice Zombie King returning to town. It's Icicle back in Blue Valley, and we are feeling an early season chill coming on. I'm wrapping up in my thermal suit. Yes, there is such a thing. Thanks to Cisco, the Flash.
I'm Harley Quinn.
And I may be the blue beacon of hope, but I don't trust Jordan or Sylvester right now. I'm X-Force 11.
And now, here are your hosts, the Scarlet Speedster himself, the Flash, the Maid of Mischief Harley Quinn, and the Blue Beacon of Hope, X-Force 11.
Hello, Legends.
Hello, Gideon. Yeah, chill in Blue Valley this week, eh?
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
Man, crazy. Well, we got a little bit of news. Let's do that.
We interrupt this podcast for a special report.
All right, X-Force, tell us what our viewerships are like this week first.
So we're up this week. It was a 0.9 in the critical demo, and the overall viewership was 494,000 viewers. So still good ratings. So
it's come up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Cool. And that's all we got, really, for news?
Yep. I no news about the start of Superman and Lois yet.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And no news about, I guess, Gotham Knights or Diggle's a new show or anything like that? Nothing that we're ready to share, right?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Well, I have some fun news for us this week. X-Force and Harley don't even know what this is. I just told them, hey, I got a good story to tell on the news this week. And I actually meant to tell it last week because this happened last week. But I don't know what it's going to do. We'll have to keep an eye on our numbers. But I got us some pretty big exposure last week. I don't know how many people listen to Jack FM, but I got on the radio and promoted our show.
Nice.
Last week.
Cool.
And it was completely by fluke. So that the beginning of the story is they have every morning at 7:30 a.m. While I'm driving to work, they have this contest called Battle of the Burbs, and it's a trivia contest between someone from the north end of the city against someone from the south end of the city. So they say it's Battle of the Burbs. Call in if you want to play. And they take someone from the north, someone from the south, and then they ask you trivia questions, and whoever gets the most right wins $100. I'm stuck in crazy winter traffic last week, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to dial in. So I dialed in, and I got through, and, just completely fluke.
Nice.
And you guys are going to laugh. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but every single day there's a different category for what the trivia questions are based on. And as soon as I heard the category, I'm like, I'm going to nail this one. So I asked them to send me the audio from it. So I've got the actual trivia contest here. I'm going to play for everybody. You guys, as soon as you hear it, you're going to go, oh my God, of course Flash is going to win this. So here it is. Here's the Battle of the Burbs.
Oh, I'm so excited for this Monday morning. The South, I want to take this week. We're down 2. It's 24-22 on Battle of the Burbs. Mm-hmm. We put someone from the north, that's Sarah's hood, against someone from the south, that's my hood. Who do we have this morning?
In the south, we have Mr. Martin.
Good morning, Martin. You look fantastic today. You're in Mackenzie Town, right?
Yeah, making my way up north, yep.
Okay, well, drive safe, okay? Let's up in the north, you're going against...
Mr. Rob is in the north. I don't know if you're in northeast or northwest where it's best, but north nonetheless.
He's in the Tuscany, right around the corner from you.
Rob, are you ready to go? Are you ready to win this snowy battle?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. The theme is superheroes today. The South gets to go first, so it's Matt and Martin. Off you go.
All right, let's do this thing. Martin, can you...
Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. I got all confused because of the snow. We go first. What am I doing?
I know. I was excited. You're going to let me go first?
Rob and I go first. I got snow brain. Rob, here we go. Are you ready for your question number 1?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Are you ready? Okay. Question number 1, Rob. Listen carefully. It's an audio clue. Rob, who played this TV character?
Oh. That's fun. Turn that up, Kevin.
All the world is waiting for you.
I forgot that part.
Who played that TV character, Rob?
I have no clue.
Oh.
What? Martin, do you know?
Yes, I do. It's Linda Carter.
It is Linda Carter. The gorgeous Linda Carter. No point for the North.
Martin, stay right there. I hope you were watching TV in the early 80s or late 70s. Can you name the superhero from this TV show? Can you name that TV show?
Definitely the greatest American hero.
The greatest American hero and the greatest theme song in television history. We have a point.
I don't know about that. All right, back to Rob. Rob, this is your question number 2. Listen carefully. I'm going to do a dramatic reading, and you have to tell me what song it is. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, Rob. Rob, he's got to be strong, and he's got to be fast, and he's got to be fresh from the fight. What song is that?
Oh, dude, come on. Martin wants to jump in again. Martin,
Rob, what song is it? Come on.
I totally do.
He does it. Yeah, Martin does. What is it, Martin?
I Need a Hero.
He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight.
Oh, that's it. You need a hero, Sarah, to come rescue you right now.
If Martin gets this one correct, Martin wins the whole thing.
Hey, Martin.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds' worst movie ever. He played a superhero in his worst movie ever. That's not subjective. He says it was his worst as well. What character was that? What superhero?
Oh, come on.
That would be Green Lantern.
That would be the Green Lantern. It's over.
It's over.
It's over. Congratulations. South takes it. Good job, Martin. $100 for you. Where do you spend it?
I'm probably going to send on Christmas presents.
Christmas presents.
Oh,
Good
nice.
idea for the fam. You get $100. And hey, North dude, don't worry. Try it again tomorrow or the next day, all right? And drive safe. Battle of the Burbs continues tomorrow morning at 7:40 for your chance to win. News is next. Hold on.
And there you go. I got his questions right. I got my questions right. He didn't stand a chance.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So, $100 in my pocket. Now, that's not the whole story, though, because after that, we got off the air, and of course, they have to get all my personal information to be able to send me the money.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, I said, do I get a bonus for answering both of my questions and his? And they're like, well, maybe, I don't know. Can you answer this question? What newspaper who works for the Daily Bugle newspaper? I'm like, come on, man, Peter Parker. Like, can you make these more difficult? And they're like, okay, well, we can't give you any extra money. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I said, they were asking me, well, how come you know so much about superheroes? I said, well, I podcast about superheroes every week. And they're like, what? Podcast? Wow, okay, no wonder you got it. And so we talked off air for a little bit. And then I said goodbye, and that was that. I thought, that's it. I'm going to go about my workday, no big deal. 20 minutes into my workday, I finally got there, and it's about 9:30 in the morning. My phone rings, and it's there. I look on the call display. It's Jack FM. The radio station's calling me back. I'm like, oh, hello, and he goes, and it's same to host Matt and Sarah, and they're like, Martin, buddy, do you got a few minutes? I said, yeah. They said, well, we're doing a special tomorrow. Every morning at our 7:00 morning show, we have a topic that I'd like to talk about. So tomorrow we're going to do podcast. And since you mentioned that you're on a podcast, you mind if we ask you a couple questions? I'm like, sure. So they interviewed me real quick. But of course, it's a morning radio show. So Matt's the funny guy. So he's cracking jokes and while the other guys are asking questions. Anyway, I also have that little interview which got us some recognition. So here's the interview. Or got us some exposure, I should say.
Okay, this is where it began, right? Martin said, I have a podcast. It's about superheroes. Martin, tell us about the podcast.
Podcast is called Tomorrow's Legends,
Right.
and we talk about the DC TV shows, so The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Superman and Lois, Stargirl, and we talk about Marvel stuff once in a while, too.
Okay, Martin, here's the thing. I couldn't care in the least. But Kevin,
Yeah.
his eyes are wide.
How long have you been doing this, Martin?
7 years.
Wow!
How many people tune in?
Yeah, every week we average between 250 and 500 listeners a week.
That's cool.
Have you done one yet on She-Hulk? Because I have to tell you, hated it at the beginning. Now I'm a massive fan.
We haven't done a dedicated one to She-Hulk yet, but we have talked about it in sort of extra coverage, bonus coverage.
What's the next episode about?
Right now we are busy covering Stargirl, because it's the only one that's on a weekly basis.
Are
So
you ever
we'll
going to do the greatest American hero? You know, like real superheroes. None of this new crap.
You know what? I would love to. I have another podcast that I talk about things that I enjoy, so I should do the Greatest American Hero one.
You know what? And that's what we're asking this morning. If you got a podcast, what would be the thing you enjoy? That would be your topic. Give us a call, 263-JACK, 263-5225.
How long until you can quit your job and just be a podcaster?
Probably never. There's no money in podcasting.
What's it called again? I'm following you right now.
Tomorrow's Legends.
Tomorrow's Legend.
There you go, guys.
Nice.
That's awesome. So we're going to get a giant spike in Canadian listeners. Here we go.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. Whoever's superhero fans, but
Yeah.
it's always fun to have things just happen out of the blue and get on the radio. Because I do call in once in a while and, answer their questions or whatever. And you guys have heard on here, if you've been longtime listeners, that I have won a couple radio contests.
You have.
So-
You in the radio contest, man. I don't know how you get through. I have tried in the past, and I never got through. So
Yeah.
you're lucky.
Well, if everything happens in threes, if you believe that, then that was my third win. So I'm now out of luck. But
Third and final one. Well, welcome to any Canadian listeners. If you heard that interview and you have tuned in, please write in to let us know
Yes.
or tweet us or whatever. We would love to hear from you.
Yes.
yeah, fantastic idea, Harley. Yeah, it'd be great to hear if that's how you found us.
Mhm.
Because we are here to talk about Stargirl. We are on Season 3, Episode 11, called The Haunting. And let's get right into it with our impressions of the show.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe.
All right. I gave this one 8.5 barn fires of rage. To me, this episode was a bit of a step down from last week, but not by much for me. Jordan is still the master villain, so many people falling for his lies, the general public, was not a surprise. Because he has grains of truth in those lies. He comes to the front of telling about the cameras, but he denies, that he killed the Crocks. He says he didn't really mean to, but he doesn't deny that. But in all this, I'm feeling sorry for Cameron because I don't know Jordan's end game, but I can guarantee that it does not involve Cameron and Courtney being happy together. So Sylvester is right in his thinking about Jordan, but he goes about it all in the wrong method. So, a bit of up and down for me this week with everything going on.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to come out hot and give this one a 9.5 misdirections.
Whoa.
I don't know. I really loved this episode.
Okay.
I kind of thought it was a step up from last week. I really vibed with it. It took everything we've seen this season, and I felt like it just completely turned it upside down. Plus, most of the episode featured Neil Jackson, and that's a huge win in my book because I love that actor, and he's amazing. So I am thrilled Icicle is back. I love to watch him. He's such a good villain. I don't trust anything he's saying, and I just love to watch him on screen chewing up the scenery because he's amazing. And my only thought, which we will get into later, is I hope that this is really the real Icicle.
Okay.
We shall see.
Wow. Well, this week I'm going to be leaning towards X-Force's corner a lot more than I guess usually happens, because usually the two of you ganging up on me.
Usually.
Because I am only giving this one a 7 stars, not shining on Sylvester. And I just want to get this out of the way right now. I'm going to say it. I hate the Sylvester character. What a waste of my screen time. Watching him rage out all the time has just gotten really old really fast for me. And I realized this week, you know who he is acting like that everybody else out there hated just as much as I hate Starman? Wild Dog on Arrow. The way he is behaving is no different than what all of you complain about Wild Dog, and it's driving me crazy. He's absolutely no different. The episode could have been so much better without him in it, as we have discussed here, and like you said, Harley, this is not the Starman I wanted nor expected, and it's such a downer for me that I don't care about him at all. I don't care what happens to him. He's just annoying when we see him on screen. Last couple of episodes that he wasn't part of were so much better. Now, let's get to some good things, because I agree with you that because Neil is back, that is the one big thing that saves this otherwise somewhat boring episode for me. And if there's anything that I have to give the writers credit for, is that we know it hasn't been much this season that I'm giving them credit for. It's this decision in bringing their best villain back to end the series with. And it makes me wonder, I get this feeling that maybe this wasn't part of the original plan. If they were getting a season 4, maybe having him come back wasn't part of the original plan, because this kind of all really happened very quickly in the last couple episodes. But who knows? Maybe it was. Maybe the ending is what would have been different. What I also did like a lot was that they still kept the Crocks almost front and center, with everybody mourning them and not just moving right along to the next day as if they never were part of the show, because we've seen that happen before too. But they spent this episode mourning, especially with Artemis, and I really, really appreciated all of that. So
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm up and down just like you, X-Force.
Yeah, see, the Sylvester stuff just didn't bring it down for me as much as it brought it down for you all. Definitely getting Neil chewing up some scenery, and then, of course, everything with, like, the handling the Croc's death and Artemis, I just thought was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So, high praise for me for this episode.
Sounds good. Well, let's get into the talking points and find out why.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
All right, so first up, the JSA and the Friends and Frenemies. We have Courtney doubling down on working together to stop the Ultra-Humanite.
Yes, I was happy to finally see her leading the team again. I hadn't actually realized how much I missed her in that role, because literally we haven't really seen it all season long, and that's just now hitting me that we're on episode 11 and our leader hasn't been leading.
Yeah.
But we got to see it again this episode, and I thought she was pretty fantastic. It was nice to have her back in the saddle, if you will.
Yes. It's good to see her trying to step up and be a leader of the new JSA and get into that role again, because it's been too long that we haven't seen it or haven't even seen her trying. And I see what they're trying to do with the dialogue and writing with her. She's the one who believes in everyone and has continually been there for every character when they are down. When they're going through a tough spot, she's the one that believed in them. But the parts that bug me, because you know Courtney has been bugging me all this season, is I can't buy that both Pat and Sylvester will just listen to her instead of their own experience. They're just like, nope, Courtney knows better than us. She knows. Let's just listen to her because she's proven herself right every single time. It just bothers me that adults that have been dealing with these situations for 30-something years are going to, bow out to a 14-year-old girl that has no experience at all. That part bugs me. And it's also been, even if she is right sometimes, but it's also just been too long in these 3 seasons that we've gotten of her being so wishy-washy, tiptoe around all the time with this dainty-footed, gag-me-to-death, goody-goody innocence that she has. It's just too much, and it's over the top with it. And that's why I so enjoyed Cindy taking her down a peg, and I so enjoyed Cameron throwing it back in her face. And I know I sound like a jerk for saying this about our main character, but nobody on this planet is that super innocent and that super nice all the time. It's just too phony for me. And I have not enjoyed Courtney this season. And overall, I really am not enjoying her as the lead of the show. It's just not working for me. It's too phony.
Yeah, I think it's hard because we're in that spot where we're in this golden age group of characters, and trying to balance that out with modern day sensibilities is just hard. And she kind of typifies that that, and it's trying to balance that out is hard because you've got this darkness of the villains and things like that, and I think we're seeing that cracks in her this season of being unsure of herself and questioning her leadership, and that's why we haven't seen her step up. And so yeah, it's rough, and I wish they could do her a bit better, but I've got a nitpick.
Oh. Do you need the sound effect?
Sure.
Form of water.
Because it's not often.
Here they're talking about how dangerous things are, and they really need to be on their toes with Ultra-Humanite and whatever. And the doorbell rings, and they let Courtney answer the door. Like, not Pat, not Sylvester, who've got experience, not the two guys there. They let the teenage girl answer the door in this I'm like, what are you doing?
Without the staff, too.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even peek out the window. She
No!
just opens the door.
She gets it from Barbara. Barbara did the same thing last week. She didn't look out to see who was there. She just opened the door. I'm like, come on.
It's more dramatic that way.
Yeah, I guess, but still.
No, I hear you. I that stood out to me too. I was like, what are you doing? That's not a good plan.
No.
I gotta say, I like X-Force having a big question like that. It's not often you have something like that to say. I got a nitpick.
Yeah, when I watched it the second time before we recorded tonight, I was like, oh, come on. So Beth uses the goggles because who's at the door? It's Artemis, and she's looking for her parents. And so Beth uses her goggles to track Sportsmaster's mask. I'm like, okay. And the JSA minus Rick check out Jordan's lair. And they figure out it's not the Ultra-Humanite's lair, because it's too small for that. And they discover the Crocks remains, and we see Artemis breaking down here.
Yeah, that scene, well, all of her scenes this episode, that actress, I thought she just knocked it out of the park. We don't get to see a lot of her, but I thought she did just an amazing job this episode, with her anger and her grief acting. It felt very believable to me, especially for such a young actor who probably doesn't have a lot of experience to pull on for something like that. Right. I just thought she had absolutely amazing, and it was kind of a standout performance for me.
Yes. Point one. You got 2 points there, so I'm going to start with point one. How did they find his mask? How is it giving off a signal? Are they trying to make us jump to the conclusion that it must have some type of communication device in it somewhere without actually showing or telling us? Come on, do better, writers. Just give us that little tidbit. Just say, oh yeah, I'm tracking there's a microphone in it or whatever. Otherwise all we saw was a hockey mask, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to assume there was some sort of communication device embedded in it, or a tracker, or something. Yeah.
And Beth can just magically link into it, because she may have always been able to, right?
She can link into and hack into anything, apparently.
Yeah. But, good point. Yes. One of the highlights of this episode was Artemis. Her acting, her performance, everything about this girl and what she was going through brought tears to my eyes. And it begs the question, why hasn't she been a bigger player this season? I don't get it. And I really felt for her in this episode. It broke my heart watching her suffer through the loss. They really nailed this whole Croc storyline and everything that has happened. They got that part bang on, and it was emotional. It was dramatic. I really felt for her. The actress was just amazing, and why has she not been part of the show? When you got somebody this good that can do this when she hasn't been around, if you think about the actresses, she hasn't been able to play the part to be able to really dive in and connect to the character that she's playing, and yet she can bring out this kind of performance. She should have been here the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lack of balance, because they did a good job of having Crusher and Pat scenes and Barbara and Paula scenes, but not Artemis bonding with any of the JSA. I mean, she was there for quick little things, but she hasn't had that time of, getting to know them and getting to be a part and that kind of stuff. It's just it just seems weird that like she's hadn't been in episodes yet. Her mom and dad have been, and it's like, I don't know.
It makes her feel really disconnected from everything and everybody.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there was stuff left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
that maybe there was stuff in the script, or there was maybe even stuff that was shot, but because of time constraints, it had to be cut out.
And that's a possibility, but it still ruins the overall storytelling of this season with her, because
it does.
Like X-Force was saying, like we got her parents every single episode. We got at least one scene with them. She should have been in any of the school scenes, because the last time we saw her, it was like 5 episodes ago or 6 episodes ago. She walks by in the lunchroom and says, "Oh, hey guys," and blah blah blah. They have a little interaction, then she's off. That's all we need, just to show us that she's there, that she's still part of the group. And to take your point further, yes, have her bond with the team, because she is. We saw her try out with the team in that nighttime fight scene, and then we saw her walk by the lunchroom, and then that's all we got for 7 weeks of Stargirl.
Yeah.
You need to see her trying to continue working into that. I want to be part of the team. Did I prove myself, guys? Yes, you're good. Be part of it. Like, we got none of that.
And we still don't know how she found out about the fight going down at the McKent mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
she kind of
called
just
her.
showed up.
She just showed up. It's like,
I'm assuming she was kind of like watching them. You know what I mean? Like kind of watching Courtney's house, like trying to see if they left.
Yeah.
And then maybe following them. Or maybe she's tracking them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. So Starman is checking out Ultra-Humanite's lair, and Court fills him in on Jordan. And here we see him using Cosmo to burn the barn to the ground in anger. And then we see this follow-up later of Sylvester blowing up at Pat over Jordan and wanting to take Jordan out by himself. And I don't know. This was just hard for me, because again, if we had some type of idea of motivation, yeah, I know the guy killed him, but like, I don't know. It just seems out of character. I don't know.
Actually, I think at this point you can argue it's very in character.
Yeah, I guess so.
From everything we've seen about Starman, I mean, he has some serious anger issues he clearly needs to work out. And I guess because this is, what we've seen, I've had to kind of accept that, like, this is who Starman is, even if I don't really like it. Like, it's not who I wanted this character to be, because it's not who I expected him to be. I expected someone a little bit more Captain America, because Courtney is, to Martin's point, so innocent and so accepting and full of light and positivity that I just sort of assumed that Starman would be the same. So I don't really like having to accept that this is who Starman is just like this crazy, like, rage monster. But I think after an entire season, and especially after these scenes, we kind of have to. I mean, this scene was completely brutal. Especially the one where he's just tearing into Pat. Like, it was so crazy. But because I know this actor from many other things, I actually kind of enjoyed just seeing the actor do something so different from other roles that I've seen him in. I actually thought his rage acting was pretty good. Like, when I was just kind of watching him and not really kind of thinking about my feelings of how I feel Starman should have been, and just kind of like watching him be in the moment, I really did enjoy his performance.
Okay, well, don't take offense to my thoughts, because I'm totally opposite of you, Harley. I didn't appreciate the scene. I don't appreciate Starman, and I don't appreciate Joel. He hasn't won me over with this performance of this character all season long. I'm just done with Starman. And my prediction is that he, without a doubt, is probably going to die by the end of the season, because when you look at what they've done with his character, the lousy direction the writing for him took, there's nowhere for his character to go. He has to die. There's nothing for him with the way he's been portrayed. So I think we're going to see the end of him in the next 2 episodes.
Well, next week, title of next week's episode is an indicator.
Yeah.
If it stays, because we've noticed that they've been changing their titles.
Yeah, well, it's official out on CW's press site, so that.
And that's why would they give it away with the title then? That's just dumb.
Well, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, but here Pat is thinking strategically about using Jordan against the Ultra-Humanite, and I'm like applauding him for being strategic in his planning, and Sylvester's just acting out of pure rage. And like Martin says, I really think that we're going to see his death in this season, and it's bad because it's going to be like a negative example for Courtney to say, don't go down this path. Don't, you can be hurt, you can be worn down, you can be betrayed or whatever, but don't go down this path, and don't be like Starman. You just hate that to be used as an example. You want them to be a good example of what they did right, rather. Now we'll probably get some type of redemption there, but still, it's just that negative. Okay, don't be like your hero that you set up. So it's just hard.
That's a really good way to put it, because what kind of example is he setting for her? Like, he's not.
Yeah, exactly. He's not.
Yeah. And Pat's brought that up to him in previous episodes of you've got to do better because you're an example for Courtney. So,
and he just keeps losing his cool. He can't.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we get a scene of Courtney and Jordan talking in front of the mural in town. And he gives her the, let's be allies speech. And I appreciate that even though she is dealing with, we need to pull him in, and we need him to defeat the Ultra-Humanite, and we need to, work with our enemies, that she does call him out on the murders he's caused.
Yeah, and I thought this was a really good scene between former mortal enemies. I mean, I don't know. At this point, and we have to talk about this episode as it goes along, because the way it ends kind of changes a lot of thoughts. But at this point, I kind of believe him. And I've got more thoughts about this when we get to our favorite scenes. But it seems like he is being genuine. It seems like he is trying to extend a hand of, I can forgive you if you can forgive me. Let's find some common ground we can stand on, because we're going to need to deal with what's coming. Like, I don't know. I felt like he was genuine in his approach to everybody that he talked to, whether it was to her or to his own parents and to his son, and which we're all going to cover. And I don't know. At this point in the episode, I was, you know what? I think he's okay.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts. We'll get into this when we get into the Icicle section, because we've got an entire section where we go through all this. But yes, I had an interesting and similar progression over the course of this episode.
Yeah, me too.
And then once we got to the end, it changed my perspective. So we've got lots of interesting things to discuss.
We have to theorize about that, because I'm still unsure. I'm very confused.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I, for one, have many theories. One of the reasons I loved this episode so much. So
that's good.
So we were just talking about Artemis, and we get this scene in her bedroom, and she's angry and upset, and she flings this thing into the wall. And to me, it looks like she's got some super strength going, and because of just the the velocity that whatever that was flung into the wall.
It was a kettlebell.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
It was
I
a
didn't-
kettlebell.
So it was heavy,
Wow.
and she still
Yeah.
threw it. Yeah.
Wow. But I love that she's got that rage there, and then she just breaks down, and then we see Barbara coming in to comfort her. And I was just like, yes, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah. No, I'm actually totally with you. I absolutely loved this scene. And I kind of love that Barb has now become a mom to a lot of these displaced kids.
Mm-hmm.
It seems the only other kid she really needs to try to reach is Rick. So it'll be interesting to see if she's able to do that in the next couple of episodes here. But I agree. I thought Artemis definitely seemed to exhibit both of her parents' power sets. She's got the enhanced strength from her dad, and then she has that like almost jungle cat yell, kind of like her mom. So I really liked that they were kind of playing that up, and it just spoke to the fact that she is their daughter and she has a little bit of both of their traits. So I thought that was cool.
Well, and the agility and everything. Like, she's got the fighting prowess of her mom, too. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, totally. Barbara's house of troubled teenagers, I guess. Like, she's got to open a new building or something. Maybe that's what she does with her job. Maybe she transitions into that by having because not only that, like Rick needs her help big time, but also Cindy. Cindy has no family. Like, she needs to bring them.
That's true.
Yeah, bring them both in, because you are right. She is kind of the mom to everybody around, and maybe that's the next purpose for her since Paula's gone. Not that we have time to flesh that story out, but I agree with you that she could be where, she can provide that parental, take them under her wing kind of feeling that could give them at least some security and some comfort. But I have a question, though. It's a bit weird to me that Barbara just lets herself into the Crocks house to go help Artemis. I mean, yes, I suppose the Crocks did it to the Dugans all the time, but with a kid being in her own house all by herself, I found that a little creepy that Barbara just shows up in her bedroom.
I'm pretty sure that Artemis wasn't thinking about locking the door behind her. So I'm pretty sure she probably wandered off to her house and Barbara followed her. So, but
still strange to go into a kid's house. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Weird
she has the point. She shouldn't be there alone.
Yeah. So Yolanda kind of observes all this, and it really hits home with her after seeing, Artemis lose her parents. So she calls her mom and musters up everything that she can to basically say that she lied to protect her mom and the family, and that she loves her. And I really thought this was powerful because you could see how much effort it really took her just to get out what she said.
And again, a good scene and great performance by that actress as well. It was really emotionally charged, and it's funny. I was trying to understand what she was doing there. She calls up the courage to tell her mom, I was lying to you to protect you. And I thought, okay, she's going to actually tell her mom, like, hey, I'm a superhero, I'm part of this team. I thought she was going to reveal a lot in the hopes that her mom would understand. But instead, she hangs up on her mom. And I thought, oh, she's actually, she basically said, I'm protecting you, Mom. This is goodbye. Click. And that's the end of it. Like, it's like she left because she couldn't tell her mom the truth. She knew it wouldn't be accepted, but at the same time, she doesn't want the danger that she's witnessing all around her happening coming to her house to endanger her family. But that's it. She's like cutting ties. I'm now living with Courtney and her family. This is where I'm going to be.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's her thinking that she's going to protect her family by keeping them out of that. Yeah. The issue is that's not going to protect him because Jordan's been watching everybody, so he knows.
He knows who everybody is. Yeah.
So
but he already knew who everybody was.
Right.
Yeah. We're just keeping an eye on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. So we get this scene on the porch where Sylvester says that Jordan is playing them all to protect himself from the Ultra-Humanite, and he wants to confront them. And here he asked for Courtney's permission to go after Jordan. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah. Again, why are you conceding to her? She's less than half your age.
Yeah, but she is supposed to be the de facto leader of the new JSA, I guess. Yeah. No, I agree. It was a little weird. What I actually noticed something that about these last three scenes, the last three that we've just talked about, because they play an episode back to back. And up until the conversation with Sylvester and Courtney starts, there is this kind of song playing over these last three scenes. And I just thought it was a really nice touch. It was very emotional to kind of tie the three of them together. I thought it was kind of a fantastic song choice. So I just wanted to call it out. I didn't do enough digging to look up the name of the song, but I did enjoy that touch.
I don't even remember noticing the music. I'm going to have to go back and check that. That's weird. But here's a thought process I want to go over. I don't agree with what Sylvester is saying, because Ultra-Humanite doesn't give a damn about Jordan at all. They specifically said, I can't remember which character it was, but they said that Ultra-Humanite followed Starman to Blue Valley. So it's Sylvester's fault. Who said it? Jordan. So it's Sylvester's fault that Ultra-Humanite is even here. And it's why he's going to get killed by the Ultra-Humanite. So there's no way Jordan is using the team to protect himself. I mean, it'll be based on our theories as to what's going on with the two of them, but there's nothing to protect him from, because we know how the episode ended. I'm just saying Humanite followed Starman here, not Jordan. He's not here for Jordan, so Jordan doesn't need to be protected. So this whole thing that Sylvester's trying to say is untrue, completely untrue. And he's actually leading the team astray and leading them off of what's really going on by trying to tell them that.
But I mean, potentially. This is assuming that we believe Jordan. Because, again, it's kind of like Jordan versus Sylvester. They're mortal enemies. I mean, Jordan could very well be lying for his own gain.
Yeah.
And Sylvester, I mean, he's
yes.
He's like, Ultra-Humanite hated everybody. How do we know he was after us? He could have just as easily been after the ISA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did say, I'm going to kill them all.
He did. Who is them all?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just funny because I'm so in disdain for Sylvester that I'm willing to believe Jordan right now over him.
We're about to dig into this, and I'm just saying it's worth considering that Jordan's lying.
Yeah,
it is.
One of the sources. So.
Good point.
So the song is Hurricane, and I'm not sure if Fleury is the group. So
I did like that song.
I'll have to look it up after.
Yeah.
So let's dig into Jordan, Cameron, and the Icicles, because we got to talk.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot to talk about.
Because it looks like it has taken Jordan a year almost to reform and stabilize enough to be human again. So we had all these questions last episode of how and why, and we got some of the answers. You know, we saw some of them, we heard some of them. We don't know the full story, but we at least got some insight into what happened.
Yes, and I, for one, enjoyed reliving the end of the season 1 finale and then kind of watching our theory at the time play out in action. I was like, well, that's kind of awesome. We were right. So, like, we totally theorized that he just melted and then reconstituted himself over time. I don't think any of us expected it to take this long, and when he didn't show up for an entire season/year, we sort of just assumed he was dead. For real. But no, here he is.
Yep. Boom. We were right on that. But I know I said this before, and to me, it's just, they're totally ripping off Terminator 2. Like, it's not an original idea at all. So, yes, it's cool that we were right and we see how it happens, but to me, I'm like, oh my God, it's such, like, what a copycat. Come on.
Well, everything builds off something.
Yes, he's ice. He melts. He's liquid water, and he's got to go back to reform. But you could have tweaked it. You could have added a little bit more something to it. Like, in order for him to become ice again, he has to get to a cold source. He has to get, I don't know, something.
Well, maybe he did.
I don't know. The sewer's that cold?
I don't know. He could go anywhere in the sewers.
I don't know. Cool, yes. Original idea, no. So I'm up and down just on this one point.
Well, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool that we were right. Like, that was, we called that how long ago? Jeez.
So we get Jordan telling his family about things, and he reveals to Cameron that it was Mike who tried to kill him. But he says he has forgiven Mike and the JSA. And, I appreciate that Cameron confronts him about the accusations that he's heard about him, and they're right, about him killing people. But Jordan says he wants to move past that. He wants peace with the JSA, and that they're really two different groups going about the same thing in different ways. And I'm like, was it really? Because in the first watch, I was like, maybe that's the way he sees it. And maybe he's true about it, because it really seemed genuine here. So,
see, that's the thing. And this is where this conversation will start to get interesting, because I believed him on the first watch. But kind of thinking back on it, what would be the end game here? This is where I start to get confused, because I thought maybe he had turned over a new leaf, realized they all want the same thing in the end. But after that reveal, now I'm not so sure. But I still don't understand the end game here. Yeah. So, I don't know. More theories to talk through, but that's the first point.
I am so confused here, and I've got my thoughts in the favorite scene section of the questions that I have, so I kind of want to save it for there, but yeah,
Hopefully I don't bring it up too much then, sorry.
Yeah, it was a good scene. I'll say that now. Like, it's a good enough scene that I chose it for my favorite one, because of how he's giving us so much information. We find out so much, and I'll backtrack the scene a little bit. I love when he shows up at the house, and he's looking at the house, and he's like, I'm home. And when he knocks on the door, the reaction of his parents, the Grancicles, like how relieved and happy and shocked that they are. Like, it felt like this was a real family being reunited. It was those old people were such good actors in this moment. Like, because I'm sure we know that they have thought he was dead all this time, and I could not imagine their disbelief in their hearts that our son is standing right there. But then, of course, they know their family's history, so they're like, they probably pieced it together. Wow, okay, we know how you survived. And I don't know, that whole sequence was just really, really good. I think this show has managed to give us, as much as we may not want to admit to it, it's just given us some emotional connection to this family and what they've gone through, even though they are evil and cold as ice. We still feel for them. We still feel for what's going on with them and what has happened to them, because it's Jordan, and we hated seeing him go, and we understand why Granny is so upset and why she's so angry. We've talked about that the last couple of weeks. We understand why she's behaving the way she is, and that Grandpa is trying to calm her down. The show has done really well in writing their story, for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it has for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So next up, Jordan heads over to the foundation, and Barbara comes in, and he is just basking in the glow of everybody welcoming him back, and she confronts him, calls him out on his evil once again, and he tips his hand about the cameras, admitting to that. And, he says, listen, you need my help against the Ultra-Humanite. and he does admit to killing the Crocks. But once again, he is talking about everything, and this is where kind of I felt like I started to question him a little bit, because I'm like, he's got those answers really quick. So,
oh yeah. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is my favorite scene, but I have several theories, so I want us to dig into them now, and then maybe after we talk about it, then we can hear the scene again at the end and see if there's any more theories after that. So I think that'll be kind of fun.
Okay.
All right. So first up, does he really want help? He says he wants help against the Ultra-Humanite, but how much of what he's saying is even true? Here's where I'm going with this. Is he even Jordan McKent? I mean, I feel like this could easily be Ultra-Humanite kind of taking over Icicle's body as well. I think he could be doing both things
Without being in his body? Is that what you mean? Because we see them both at the end of the episode. So do you think Ultra-Humanite could just be controlling him with his mental ability?
Yeah, is that possible?
It could be. It could be a skill that he has. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have a point that comes up later where I think I question that as well. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, maybe that could be possible.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
But,
thoughts, theories.
See, that kind of even counters your question, does he want help? Well, if he's being controlled by Ultra-Humanite, why would Ultra-Humanite come to the group and say, hey, help me beat myself?
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. But and it's the same question if he's himself working with Ultra-Humanite. Why would he want help defeating them? Unless there's some grander scheme.
There's something funny, and this is why I'm so confused. There's something funny there, because I still feel like Jordan truly is reaching out to everybody, because he knows the threat that is Ultra-Humanite. And I feel like he's truly reaching out and wanting to have like we'll get to in the favorite scenes, but wanting to have that peace. He's tired of the peace and the death, or the fighting and the death. And he wants that to settle down because he wants Blue Falcon. I believe that he truly wants to help society. He wants to help people. It sounded like he understood that the way he went about it the first time was the wrong way. Now he has a new perspective, a fresh perspective, and he wants to work with everybody to bring that peace that he's talking about. And I'm believing him here in these sequences. I believe him. It's just, why did that scene come at the end? That is what throws everything off. It doesn't make any sense. Because he's telling a pretty genuine story, I think. He's like, yes, I did this. I killed those people. I get it. And I'm trying to get your forgiveness because I forgive you guys. You killed me. So, I don't know. I'm really, really lost as to which way to go with him.
Yes. Now, here's a counter theory to my own theory. I'm countering my own theory. It's been a fun night, I'm just saying. Or a fun night last night. Anyways, maybe instead he's really Jordan, he's really Icicle, he's using the Ultra-Humanite for his own gain. So essentially, he's setting up this apparently super all-powerful villain to take some huge fall so he can win over the JSA and whoever else he needs to win over back to his side, basically, to accomplish whatever his end game is.
I'll give you a maybe on that, because I like the idea of winning the JSA over, because that's beneficial for him if they all accept him and believe. If they see that he has to help them fight Ultra-Humanite, and it takes all of them together, and he proves if he's the guy that ultimately wins the battle for them, then that will win them over. That's beneficial for him. No matter which way he's going, if he truly is going to be a good guy, or if after all, this season is the season of redemption for everybody, so maybe this is what he's trying to do, right? Even if he ultimately wants to be evil again, winning them over now takes away the distrust between them, and he can probably get away with some things when they think he's good. That I agree in, but what I don't agree in is I just don't see Jordan as having this Emperor Palpatine long game style of intelligence in him. I don't. Palpatine's the ultimate of all in playing the long game and beating manipulating everybody from thousands of years ago. I just don't see Jordan having that in his personality to play the long game like that. So I'm kind of torn on your idea. It's good, but I don't see him being able to do it.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, so what's in it for Ultra-Humanite? Because, like, he gets defeated, and now he can do things like he gets sent away, and, like, he can do things a little more under... Because, like, he was like, kill everybody. Now, he could have been acting, but, like, what's his takeaway from letting the JSA defeat him? I don't know. That's a question. I have in this. We talked about this when we were theorizing why they're working together. I still don't know what the end game is with either one. Why they would work with? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
totally.
It's very confusing. So hopefully, I mean, we have to get some answers, surely. Otherwise, none of this is going to make any sense.
Yeah.
All right, but I have a final question because we have even more things that we need answered. Because how does the gambler play into all of this? I mean, is it literally as simple as he discovered Jordan too soon because he discovered the feed?
If it was that simple, though, then it completely kiboshes the whole idea. Like, this whole gambler murder mystery, I think, is a storyline that has fizzled out, and the writers didn't know what to do with it. They thought, this is a great way to start our season, yeah! And then as they went along, like, crap, what are we going to do with it? And they've kind of let it fizzle away and not mean anything, because it doesn't seem like there's any payoff coming for it. Like, who cares? They shot the gambler, they stabbed the gambler. Who really cares? Like, the gambler had no pull over anything. Like, I just don't understand. There's no big reason for our season-long overarching storyline to be hooked on killing the gambler. It just, I just don't think there is. And if it ends up just being a simple discovery like that, then that makes the whole, we've wasted an entire season on a storyline that doesn't matter. And that would make me really angry. And you'll get the yellow Flash wearing you'll get the yellow / black Flash in the end if it's something that simple and that ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What was that new all powerful version of Thawne in the black suit? You're him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rebirthed Thawne.
Yep. There you go.
There you go.
I can see it like, yes, the gambler discovered the feed, but it being more than that he would know, since he knows Jordan well enough, he would know that this is just a front and would call him out on it. And so that's why he had to be gotten rid of, because he would, he really turned over this new leaf. He's going to say, listen, I know him. He's got a long game in mind. There's something else going on. There's whatever. He's going to call him out because he had worked with him for so long. And there's nobody really to do that because he's
they're all dead.
Yeah, he's killed off the Crocks. He's killed off the gambler. The Shade never, like, he worked with them, but, like, he wasn't in their inner circle. He was doing his best means. So, like, there's nobody really to call Jordan out on his long game, or the Ultra-Humanite as, like, being a tool of Jordan. So that could be some of the reasoning. So, but this is me speculating. So,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think there might be something to that. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Good ideas. Do we get any answers to them? That's the question.
I know.
Because, Stargirl's going to wrap it up real fast. It's coming. We got, 2 episodes left, and we're in this limbo area. It's going to be wrapped up in the opening 10 minutes of the final episode, and it's going to come real fast and real short.
Like it always does. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I give it 20 minutes, but anyway.
I give them a good half. They get the first chunk to wrap it up, and then the second chunk to wrap up the series, apparently.
All right, let's wager down. If the final episode is 42 minutes long, I say within 12 minutes, it'll be solved. I'm gonna write it down right now. I'm gonna say Flash, 12 minutes.
I'm saying 20.
X-Force,
Well,
20 minutes. Harley,
18.
18 minutes. Okay.
Because I don't think they'll go longer than half.
All right.
But I don't think it'll be as short as you. So we'll see.
Okay.
Between Jeff and I, who's right?
Lay your wagers down, listeners. Who are you putting money on?
So Cameron comes over to Courtney, and he is kind of being that emissary for his dad, and really wanting them to work together. And they get into this sparring back and forth, and rightly so, because he's wanting to believe the best about his dad. He's wanting to believe his dad is there, that he's made mistakes, but he's changed. Courtney's not having that. She's really questioning everything. And she's not ready to go all in yet. So, it was good to see kind of the back and forth of her actually saying, no, I'm not sure yet.
I did appreciate that. At least, I was very happy that she wasn't just like, oh, welcome back with open arms. I feel like that would have been. I feel like that truly would have been naive. So I was glad that she kind of wasn't immediately ready to just drop all that, forget everything that happened. I don't think that's something you can forget. So it'll be interesting to see how they wrap stuff up, or rather attempt to smooth things over the two of them. Are they going to get a happy ending? So I guess we'll find out. Yeah. There was definitely one thing that stood out to me in this conversation that I was like, oh, what? I don't think that happened.
Right.
Cameron said Jordan acted in self-defense. I think that's complete BS, personally. It did not feel at all to me like he was acting in self-defense. It felt to me like he lured them down there to kill them for the reasons that we have stated. Yeah. But that's just me.
Yeah, okay, well, on both points, I did appreciate that scene, too. I think Cameron was, from his perspective, he's realizing that he was really hard on Courtney and didn't want to listen, he was tough on her. So he's coming to her doorstep to apologize and say, hey, can we make up for it? Can we start over? Now I have a lot more information, a lot more answers. And my dad is back, so I'm not even angry at you anymore because he came back. And yes, she was hesitant. Yes, she was standoffish, but she also let him kiss her. And I think she wants... I think she was just overwhelmed with a lot of emotion, but I think deep down she really wants things to work and she's going to be with him. And depending on how the finale goes, I'm guessing there'll be a happy ending for the two of them somehow. I don't know.
I'm not going to hate it if they give it to them. I'm just saying. But I am glad that she didn't immediately welcome him back with open arms. Yeah.
It'll depend on which way he goes. What happens in the end with... Again, and I'm going to triple down on my prediction that his dad's going to go off the rocker and it's Cameron that's going to step in and stop him.
I like this.
Because Cameron's not turning evil.
I can see that.
You can see that? Cool.
Yeah, I can see
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now going to your BS question about Jordan acting in self-defense. This is where the whole can we trust him gets questioned. Yeah. Because in that scene, he walks right in the room and stabs Crusher. No chance.
Right?
Mm-hmm. No time, no nothing. And then he takes off his mask. So all I can think of, and this is such a far-fetched idea, is when he was in this reforming protective mask, shield, cloak outfit that he was in, is he under some kind of influence that he can't control? Is there something that's going on there that he didn't realize what was going on, that he, I'm just a piece of ice under this. I haven't been able to turn myself into human skin yet. Or is he actually duping us all? Because we saw the real him in that moment, and now all of this chatter, all of this trust me, forgive me, blah, 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 is that duping all of us?
I am very torn about all of this, to be honest with you. I definitely feel like there is more to not only like this scene, but his whole situation than meets the eye. I mean, you could definitely see him struggling. He was struggling to stay in a human form all episode long.
Yeah.
I loved that touch. I thought it was awesome, from the acting down to the makeup and the way it evolved slowly over the course of the episode, from him being like barely able to remain human to at the end he seemed like he was doing pretty okay. So I thought that was fascinating, but I don't know if at the beginning of the episode we're supposed to believe that he's still in that sentient, non-sentient, ice, water, not real human, like weird phase that he describes. Because to me, he was describing his year that took him to get to the point that he was at, for him to have whatever healing mechanism, or maybe that's how the Ultra-Humanite comes back into all of this somehow.
Okay, I've got a theory that I was thinking about while you were talking about that. Is what if he is dealing with two personalities because of the trauma that he's gone through?
That'd be interesting.
So he can understand what's going on, but when we are seeing him struggling, that's one personality, and then we also see him very confident and secure, and that is the other personality. So he is a divided personality that, you know, is aware of what's going on, but he is kind of waffling back and forth because he has been so traumatized that he has got basically two things going on within him. And so he can be that planning and calculated, and yet he can be the lack of control at the same time. So that's a thinking, and maybe Ultra-Humanite exploits that, is exploiting that he is a divided mind. So that's just a kind of working theory that he's dealing with, you know, two different personalities because of the trauma he's gone through.
I mean, even a lighter take on that, like he describes to his family that when he's in ice form, he's like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know where I was, what I was doing. I had no sense of anything. I was just really fighting to get myself back. So maybe in that form, he just, maybe not so much another personality, but he just has no sense of anything while he's in that form, and therefore not in control of it. So yeah, something along those lines, I think, X-Force, for sure. Something could be going on, because he does give us some clues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get to the end scene, because we've been talking about it all episode long. Jordan is in the woods, and I'm like, what's going on here? And Ultra-Humanite comes out, and Jordan says to him, "It's time." And then we're like, what?
It's time for what? Does anybody else expecting Grundy in that moment?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I thought it was Grundy at first, or would be Grundy.
Yeah, that would have been
be
so
interesting.
cool. That would have been even better. Because instead of getting this
That
confusion,
made more sense.
Yeah, this scene was so dang confusing. Grundy would have made a lot more sense, and it would have been way more exciting, I think, to me.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was Grundy until it had to be one of the two, right?
Yeah.
We only have two like giant, crazy monster characters. Anyways, that was a sentence. Yeah, I feel like that's a sentence that shouldn't be said, but here we are.
Theorize on that. Will Grundy come back for the finale? He's been part of Rick's story all season.
We got to see it, right? I feel like we got to see it.
I still think that, I don't know how they're going to do it in 2 episodes, but I think that, you know, like I stated earlier in the season, that, you know, Rick seeing Grundy and Grundy's, their relationship is going to what's breaking him out of his spiral, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, Grundy will be the one, friend, no, be mad.
No. Well, we'll have to see what happens. I know. I was kind of disappointed it wasn't Grundy, but then I just got confused and because I was like, wait, what? Then I had to rethink the entire episode. So, all right. Got another theory. So, at the beginning of the episode, Courtney and Mike are theorizing that the Ultra-Humanite is the one who killed the gambler. Because they said something about his teeth. Courtney says claws, and they're like, no, he doesn't have claws, but he's got teeth. And I was like, okay. And now that we get the reveal at the end, I was like, I actually think Icicle stabbed him through the heart, which then, of course, melted because they foreshadowed this whole thing when Granny McKent kills the art teacher in the exact same way. Which, by the way, I want them to close the loop on this because surely someone has noticed a teacher is legit missing. Like, they're not going to even, like, just drop a line about that. So-and-so has been missing, blah, blah, blah. Come on, please.
Yeah.
Give us that.
All right.
Yeah.
Your theory, I really, really like because it can't be a tooth. Like, if Ultra-Humanite bit him, there would be teeth marks all around him. You can't bite somebody with one tooth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So the fact that anyone even
how
listen
big
to that
he is.
theory, like, come on. And I don't think his mouth is that big to bite someone around the chest and only puncture him with one tooth. That's just silly.
Yeah.
Like, so silly.
Yeah.
And we know it wasn't Cindy because, like I said, we didn't see blood on her shiv and the stab wound, whatever. Your Icicle theory is fantastic. The only question I have is, I thought he had to stay in the sewers until he was fully formed. I didn't think he was running around in his mask and his cloak and had control of his ice powers enough to stab someone. I don't know. That's the only thing that's kind of putting a wrench in that idea for me. But I think it's such a good idea because it makes sense based on what we saw, how they killed the teacher, but also that they couldn't find the weapon. They couldn't find what they were unsure in a couple episodes. They're like, what was it that killed him? There's a stab wound. Like, we didn't even know what he was stabbed with. So that all makes really good sense, and it's just, can we link that to he is able to get out of the sewers that far back in the season and be in control of himself? So I love that theory. Now, your teacher thing, I am so with you there. Like, you guys have been hearing me all season long. I'm complaining about how this town is the stupidest, blind, and most unaware town we've ever seen. It's actually really frustrating to keep seeing how everything just goes unnoticed. And what bugs me about that is it makes this show really feel fake and not realistic at all because it brings this overall feeling and rating of the season down because it doesn't make any sense. How can these constant crazy things happen in this town and it never gets noticed? No, I mean, even the keys, the stupid scene with Jakeem and Mike in the bathroom, all the keys, like, people just looked at it and went, oh, let's go back to lunch. And, like, nothing gets said. And the fact that a teacher is dead and missing and it's not going to be brought up.
Trust me.
I'm fed up. I'm fed up with that story writing. This town is completely dead and unaware of what's going on, and it's unrealistic, and it's made this show phony to me.
Yeah. Trust me, as somebody who works in education, when somebody is missing for a day or two, you've got no calls. Like, we're in a shortage of teachers right now, and you know, it's like we need, like, to give you an example, we had 10 staff members out today, and we had 6 subs. So other teachers were having to cover. So you notice, like, administration is going to notice if a teacher is gone without calling for multiple days. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
We're not going to get the closure, Harley. Like, if they close the loop on the teacher, they got to close the loop on why this school's been destroyed how many times, why there was flowing explosions in the sky, why, like, it's too much. They're just not.
So I have a sound clip for that. Explain nothing. Explain nothing.
Yes, and fans like the Flash here rage. It's unrealistic. None of these CW shows have shown this much nonsense with the town not paying any attention. Arrow got it all the time. Even the Flash. All the other shows showed the cities that they take place in involved in the storylines.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, so the quick section of Jakeem, Mike, and Thunderbolt. So Jakeem and Mike are working on a wish to remove Jordan's powers. But Thunderbolt, very true to being a genie, says he can't remove Jordan's powers because it would kill him. And so, we get the confirmation that, he needs his powers to survive. He can't stay in human form. He needs those powers. And so Thunderbolt can't remove the powers because it would kill him.
Yeah, so two things there. Is that Thunderbolt is not allowed to kill anyone. You can't say, I wish so-and-so was dead. He won't, is that part of it? He can't kill someone with a wish?
That's a typical... I'm just
the rules of the genie.
Yeah, I'm basing my knowledge of genies off of Aladdin.
Yeah.
Me too.
The rules of Aladdin.
Well, but it makes sense.
Can't bring someone back from the dead. Can't make someone fall in love with you. Can't kill anybody. Is that right?
Yeah, but it does make sense because those are things that are on that's immaterial. It's things that you can't have happen. It doesn't make any sense. You want a Lamborghini, you want to be whatever, all those things. So it does make sense. That wish can't come true, or it's part of the Thunderbolt's belief system or whatever his history is attached to. That we're not allowed to kill people, so we're not allowed to answer that wish. It makes it cool.
Three laws of robotics. I don't know.
Yeah. But I like the idea that Jordan, the information we get, that Jordan's power is keeping him alive. So you remove his power, he will die. That's some fascinating facts about Icicle that we never knew before.
Right, and
I think that's a new development.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think because Jordan says that he's more powerful, and he couldn't do some of these things before. So I don't think he could become like ice, but I don't think he could reform and things like that before. So I definitely think this is new. So
yeah, and I don't know that I understand the why, but because it happened, I agree. I think his powers are, I think, keeping him together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd still be a puddle of water.
Yeah.
Sentient puddle of water. How does that even work? Form of water. I got nothing.
Form of water.
There we go. Turned into a pitcher. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most useless superpower ever.
Yep.
So, after the failed wish, Cindy comes in and wants to team up with them. But she still hates the name the Young All-Stars. And Bianca brings us up in the discussion thread. She was wondering, is Cindy under Ultra-Humanite's control?
All right, so here's this point coming back, because at first I don't know, I have no idea of what order I wrote my notes down in, but clearly at this point in time, I was thinking that if Ultra-Humanite was in control of Cindy, then wouldn't Cindy be dead? But then I got to thinking, well, wait, maybe he can control her, because if he's controlling her, he could also be controlling Jordan, and it kind of sent me on a loop, clearly, because we've already talked through that theory spiral. So, I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I hope not. I really like Cindy, so I kind of just want Cindy to be Cindy, but I do think it's really interesting to think that they've kind of set it up that Ultra-Human is super powerful, so I feel like there has to be someone under the influence, so we'll see.
Do we know that for a fact that he can control other people with his mind powers? Is that one of his power sets we know of?
I'll look.
Okay.
I know we went through it the other week, but I'll look.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, because I know they definitely talk about him putting his brain into other people's bodies, and I can't remember if they, at least in the TV show, specifically called it out. I feel like the rundown from the comic said he could also control people telepathically, but I could be totally just making that up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we got that far, but the idea of him controlling Cindy, that would have had to have happened when she was out in the woods looking for him.
Right.
Yes.
When Mike and Jakeem ran into him.
Yeah.
Go ahead, X-Force.
Yeah, so he has hypnosis. sufficient power to implement suggestions into the minds of almost all of the members of Infinity Inc. simultaneously.
Oh.
So
okay. So the show could take that and run with it because they don't follow comics lore exactly.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So, okay. So, like I was saying, when Cindy was out looking for him in the woods, he could have ran into her then and took her control of her. Sure, makes that I can accept. Now, thinking in the end game, does Ultra-Humanite think he needs help on his side to fight the big fight? I have a feeling no. Like, me personally thinks when he says, I'm going to kill them all, he doesn't need help. He doesn't need anybody on his side. He can take them all on by himself. But the idea could be there that he has a few people under his mental control to fight for him in the final fight, which could be Jordan, Mr. Icicle, could be Cindy, could be whatever, which could, because you got to think in the final fight, it would be weird having a group of like 15 people all attacking Ultra-Humanite. How are you going to do that? If Ultra-Humanite has some people fighting for him, now we have a versus situation where we've got two teams against each other.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. I'm confused. At this point, I'm sufficiently confused.
I'm even confused why Cindy would go to Mike and Shaquem and say, "Hey, I'm ready to join your team." Like, why? Why? Like, they're useless. They're two idiots. Why do you want to join them? I don't understand her reasoning behind that.
Because they believe in her and they're willing to help her, whereas the JSA has kind of turned their back on her too many times.
Yeah. Can you imagine if the Ultra-Humanite got control of Shaquem and then made him make wishes with the Thunderbolt?
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Fascinating, but terrible.
Yeah.
Again, Thunderbolt is useless in a fight because in the middle of a battle, you're going to stop. I wish for, and you got to rhyme off this half an hour long wish. Like it's useless. It's completely useless character and superpower, in my opinion. It's just dumb.
Unless you want to turn clips of the toast.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, I had to bring it up. Had to bring it up.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah. So, we've been talking about Ultra-Humanite, and our suspects, but we've been talking about him all episode. I don't think we've got anything in there in the section that I put that we haven't really discussed. Like we were questioning, who brought him to Blue Valley, and is what Jordan's saying about him hating the ISA true? Yeah. I think we've discussed all those throughout this episode.
Yeah, I think so too. I do have one final question.
Mm-hmm.
And I put this under Icicle. So, assuming we believe him, and he has acted in self-defense, which for the record, I do not believe him. However, assuming he has, who led the Crocks to Icicle? He's working with the Ultra-Humanite, so it, in theory, shouldn't have been the Ultra-Humanite. Or was it? Who would lead them to him if he didn't lead them to himself?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Would the Humanite have led them there knowing that Icicle will kill them because he's not under control?
Possibly.
To me, Ultra-Humanite, he's out in the woods. He's never come into town, so I don't think he has anything to do with what's going on in town.
That's where it gets confusing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Unless it was Icicle, unless he's pulling the wool over everybody's eyes and he wants to kill the... Like, why would he kill... Again, I asked the question, why would he kill the Crocks? He could just easily say, hey, I'm back. Do you want to come fight with me again? Like, he needs people.
Because I think they've changed too much and he saw that. I think he has seen how much they have changed and how their loyalty is to their daughter and now to the whole Dugan clan. He's seen how much they changed. They're not going to go back.
He's
but look at what he was saying this episode. I forgive everybody. I want to work together. Let's bring peace. Like, if you fully believe what he was saying, then he doesn't need to kill them because they're good now.
Yeah, but
well, that was after he killed them.
Yeah.
Also, I don't fully believe him.
Yeah, I don't think they would believe that he would be reformable. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go back to the last point though. Maybe I don't feel like we fully fleshed it out. The last scene with them two facing off with each other or confronting each other in the woods. Are they working together, and why? Like, why would they be working together? Why would Ultra-Humanite work with him? I don't think he needs him.
I have absolutely no idea.
I don't think either one need the other one, really.
Yeah.
I don't. I brought this up the other week. I don't see the end game on either one of them working. I mean, they can both be thinking they're using the other person, but like, I don't see the end game of why they would think that they need the other. I don't know.
And for Jordan to say it's time, like, I don't know.
Which makes me think he's the one in control.
That's the feeling it gives you, yeah.
Which is confusing. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully our listeners have some theories. Because maybe they got something that we don't got.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We'll have to see.
Okay. But before we get to that, let's good discussion. That actually ended up coming out to be a much better discussion than I thought it would be. But that was good. Let's get to our favorite scenes, because that's some fun stuff.
Shape out an eagle!
And that eagle would carry the useless pail of water.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'm up first, and I decided to do something a little light and fun in this episode, and the title of my clip is, it's called Banter, Pat.
Whatever grand plan the Ultra-Humanite might have, if history's taught us anything, it's that it'll involve hurting a lot of people, including us. Because, guys, this ain't no Donkey Kong.
Yeah, if we don't stop him, it'll be game over. Blue, 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 do, do, do. 1981, guys.
You know, you don't have to do a joke on top of every joke that I do.
It's called banter, Pat. All superheroes use it during stressful situations to diffuse tension.
I know, it just seems like you feel like you always got to get the last word in on me. It's just, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See right there, you're doing it.
See right there, you're doing it.
Oh, is this what you want? No banter? Just an overly serious conversation that scares the hell out of everyone?
Guys, stop.
Sorry, Barb.
Sorry, Barb.
I know this was a super short scene, but I really love the banter back and forth between the two of them. And it was such a heavy contrast to what we saw of them later. So I really kind of enjoyed them going back and forth.
I did too. I thought it was fun. And I like how at the end she's just like, guys, stop. And they're like, sorry, Barb. That was, I think, my favorite part.
Yeah, it's just Sylvester was just bugging me so much this episode. Yes, it was kind of funny, but this also just feeds into why I don't like him so much, because he just never gives Pat the respect, or that he's on the same level. He still continually steps on Pat's head and treats him like a sidekick, and that bugs me about this character. So,
yeah. That's definitely a thing. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to get over that. I mean, until Sylvester, Pat's always going to be his sidekick, even though he's older than him, and it's kind of a weird dynamic, right?
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
It really is. Oh.
All right. Well, I am next. Mine is called Icy Motives of Change. It has to do with Jordan. We talked about it already. This is when he comes home and tells his family everything. I love it for many, many things. I hope this drives more discussion, because I was trying to save some of it for here. But I also picked this because of how much information we got from him as he explains what happened. So this one's a little bit of a longer one, so here it is.
Where have you been, Dad? When I was hit, I lost not only my form, but all self-awareness. I had no consciousness, just dreams. Dreams of you, of your mother, of our family. It took everything I had to reform.
Why didn't you heal here? Why let us think you were dead?
Son, I was trying to protect you.
Protect me from what?
Your grandparents, they explained everything to you, right? Our family was hunted for generations. To bring you into that history would have put you in danger. Because once you knew... I know how hard it is to keep our secret from those you hold close. You told Courtney, and this happened.
Courtney told me she was the one who killed you.
But she failed.
No, Mother. It wasn't Courtney who did it. It was her brother.
Mike? Then why would she tell me that?
To protect him. But that's all in the past now. And I've forgiven him. I've forgiven all of them because they believed what they were doing was right. And after what happened, my powers are somehow even stronger.
Courtney says you've killed people, Dad.
My goal was only ever to help people. You know that. You know me.
I thought I did.
Son. My son. Almost losing my life, almost losing you. And listening to Courtney Whitmore, it made me look at my past actions in a different light. Courtney's group and I, we want the same thing. We could just never agree on how we should achieve that. But I think maybe now we can.
Du vill ha fred.
Yes, Father. I want peace. Oh.
Okay. So, like I said, I love all the information we get from him. He basically explains everything that happened while he's gone. But here's my question. Now think about everything we have already discussed about Jordan and which way is he leaning, good or bad? Can we trust him? The one big glaring question here, why would he be telling his family with nobody else around, it's just his family, that he forgives everyone and just wants peace? If he ultimately had this evil plan that he was about to get going and kick off the ground and work with Ultra-Humanite, why wouldn't he tell them that, like, shh, don't tell anybody, I'm faking being friendly because I want them to trust us so we can do this and this and this. Like, you would think he would fill his family in on everything, but he's not. He's genuine, he's emotional, he's sad, and he's just like, I forgive them. I understand why they did what they did. I'm a different person now. I see things differently. I want to do this. Yes, Dad, I want peace. Cameron, I'm so sorry. I blah, blah, blah. Like, he gives them all of this stuff that makes me just go, okay, he's legit. He is turning a new leaf and going to try to make up for everything that he's done. And then we get a stupid scene at the end, and it wipes, I just don't understand. It makes no sense because he should be telling his family all this stuff if he was truly had some ulterior motive going on. I don't know. How do you answer that question?
I don't think he wants to push his son away. I think the only person that would back him up in his family is his mom, and I think he knows it.
Yeah, and if he is trying to accomplish his goals for the foundation and doing it in a different way and convince everybody that he's going to do it this way as opposed to the way he was going to do it before. He's going to, I don't know. It's just I don't know the motivation, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to reason it out, but I'm not like getting
I'm at a loss too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no answer to why he would tell his family all of this when there's nobody else around that could possibly hear in. I don't know. And that could be why what also affected my rating is I hate being left completely bewildered and confused with not a hint of an answer. Like nothing we can even speculate, and that drives me crazy. So.
Oh, I disagree. I think we did plenty of speculation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we got no answers. We have no idea.
No.
Like we couldn't.
Well, not yet,
usually
no.
we can speculate ourselves into possibilities, and tonight I feel like we've just speculated and we didn't come out with any answers.
I mean, we came up with answers on certain points, but we don't have enough information to understand his motivations
For
yet.
him, yeah. So.
Yeah.
But I think we'll get it. We'll have to.
All right. Well, there you go. That's what I was holding on to. Let's get into your clip, Harley.
All right. I called mine a triumphantly orchestrated return.
It's good to see you, Barbara.
I saw you die.
I know.
How?
I wasn't sure myself at first. But it seems my abilities extend beyond just creating ice. I can somehow become it.
What do you want?
I want my life back. My death can be explained away easily enough as misinformation after a tragic accident.
No one will believe it.
They already have. They want to believe it because the people of Blue Valley love me. I've lost a year of my life, Barbara. A year away from my son, my parents, my work. I know I can't get that time back, but I can put the past behind me. Start over. Rebuild. Trust me, Barbara. I'm a changed man.
I've seen who you are, Jordan. You're pure evil. You'll never change.
But I have. And who do we have to thank? It's ironic, maybe, or fitting. Your daughter, Courtney, showed me it was possible. She believes in people in a way that I never did.
Yeah, in a way that you never will.
But I want to. I want to wipe the slate clean. And to show I mean business, I am willing to help the JSA take down the Ultra-Humanite.
How do you know about that?
I've been watching Blue Valley for some time. That creature followed Sylvester Pemberton here. The Ultra-Humanite hated the ISA just as much as the JSA because we refused to accept him into our organization.
He didn't freeze Crusher and Paula. It was you.
I didn't want to, Barbara. I didn't set out to. They came in and it happened so fast. It was terrible. But it can end there. All of it. When you're ready to accept my help against the Ultra-Humanite, let me know. It really is good to see you, Barbara.
And scene.
See, and there's that weird undertone in the music too. It's like spooky and like something sinister is coming. But and maybe that's the hint. That's what's telling us which way he's going.
I know. Yeah. No, it's very confusing. I feel like he's saying one thing and doing his best to win everybody over, but that ending scene calls it all into question.
Yep.
So here we are.
It does.
What end? He's clearly, I don't know, either using the... I guess I'm leaning towards now, after talking about it and hearing the scene yet another time, that maybe he's using the Ultra-Humanite to, I don't know, put himself back in good graces. I still just don't get the end game, though. Like, what's the end game? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big question. Why? How? What?
Yeah.
What's like... And hopefully we get a big answer in next episode. Like, hopefully that at least gets revealed to us.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Cool. Still good scenes, though, all around. Good stuff.
Yep.
Let's just remind our faithful listeners about Patreon. We know there's a few of you on there, and we just want to take this chance to say thank you so much for continuing to support the show every month. We really, really do mean that. And for those of you that also would like to support the show with a little bit of financial, that's how you do it. It's money for the podcast, helps us cover costs of things, and it's a way of you to say thanks for continually to give us content. Because, we're going to slightly be moving into Marvel, it sounds like. We still got to figure all that out.
We do.
The Legends of Tomorrow, which is us, we're not going to go away. So this is how you do that.
If you'd like to support our podcast, you can do so at our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/tomorrowslegends.
If you don't dial it, we'll cry like a violin.
All right, let's kick it off with an email from Comic Geek Kev.
Hi, Legends. So last week I said something about Icicle and Ultra-Humanite working together, and while you were reading my email someone said, but are they? Then for this whole episode I was like, I guess I was wrong. Then bam! I think I've been vindicated. But then again, maybe not. Just like the rest of us in this episode. But anyway. Yeah. But on to the rest of the episode. I really liked the episode overall. I thought the various reactions to the death of the Crocks was well done, especially Barbara. And then she immediately finds out Jordan is alive. I can't imagine what someone in that position would feel like, especially in front of all those people who were obviously thrilled to see him.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Artemis, from the moment Courtney opened the door, we saw a very vulnerable Artemis, something we haven't seen before. The facial expression, the hands, the voice, very well done by the actress. Then the discovery of the remains, that was a great scene, and the performances by everyone were great. And I love the way Barbara went to her in the Crocks house to comfort her. I'm really sorry to see the show ending. Between that and the heartfelt apology of Yolanda to her mom, I would have loved to have seen how they would continue. Would Barbara become the surrogate mom of the kids? Rick has no family either. Only Beth has a complete semi-functional family.
Yeah, that's good points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that Thunderbolt can't take Jordan's powers, but how about asking him to imprison the guy or something? The kids seem to be getting a better hand on the wishes. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, that's a good one. A prison that can't is impenetrable by water, that you can't leak out of or something like that.
Yeah.
Most of the action here was from season 1, but I'm hoping that means they are saving the effects budget for the final battle.
Yeah, me too.
I'm hoping / assuming they will get Jade and Obsidian back along with Shay. Otherwise, those Infinity Inc. episodes would seem like a waste. Unless they were strictly looking towards future seasons, which definitely could be the case.
Yeah.
Maybe even some of the Helix residents and Bones.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I have a feeling that was a one-off 2-part episode just to introduce them for future storylines, but I have a feeling they're not coming back. That's why Shade is like, I'm taking them out of here. And yeah, I don't know. That's my feeling.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm really curious to see what happens with the Grand Sickles. They know Mike, quote unquote, killed Jordan, but he's acting like he wants to let bygones be bygones. Yeah. But whose side do they take when it comes out that Icicle and Ultra-Humanite are apparently teaming up?
That's the question.
Mm-hmm. Things I fully expect to see. Artemis Unleashed.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Barbara shooting at least one person with Paula's crossbow, just when it matters most.
Yeah, sure.
I would love that.
Cameron struggling to decide whose side he's on, but ending up with a JSA. Kind of going to
he's with
Martin's theory. Yolanda's mom finding out about Wildcat and the team. We'll see.
Okay. I don't know if they have time for that, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt continues to be mostly useless, being pulled out of some big magic, being pulled out for some big magic when needed. Yeah. I also assume we'll see Ultra-Humanite use some powers besides his growl.
Yeah.
I thought there were some really great performances from pretty much everyone in this episode. I really like this cast for the most part. Like any show, they've had some clunky performances and some less than stellar, see what I did there, writing. But for the most part, I think they do a great job. So until next time, I will give this episode 9 out of 10 sewer supervillains. And I'll wait for the Flash to completely disagree with most of my takes. I'm looking forward to seeing what other shows you might decide to cover. Later, Legends, Comic Geek Kev.
Kind of funny you say that, Kev, because I actually agree with you on your points. Like, your email was very agreeable. And I'm wondering if you're, talking about your takes, like which ones are on what you fully expect to see. Yeah, I agree. Artemis. I agree with Barbara. I agree with Cameron struggling and then ending up on jail. Like, you and me are in agreement with your email, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I will defend us because you opened up with, you're razzing us from us questioning Ultra-Humanite, or your theory of Ultra-Humanite and Icicle being together. But we only said, but are they? Like, we weren't sure. We were just like, we don't fully agree with you, but we also don't fully disagree. So we were unsure. And you may have been proven temporarily right. We really don't know what the full outcome of that is. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the deal?
What is the deal? Yeah. All right, next up is Perry White, who sent in an email this time. He said, "Hey, Cosmic Crew, Perry White here. I didn't get a chance to record, so here's some not-so-swift email feedback. First off, let me say that I like this episode well enough. I'd probably give it a 7.5 to 8. Cosmic Staff's glowing red with anger out of 10. But it could have been so much more. Historically, episodes following major character deaths offer some of the best emotional and character beats you will get in a series. I think about the episodes surrounding or following the deaths of Tommy, Laurel, or Moira in Arrow, and those episodes have been phenomenal. Even on The Flash, the episode following Frost's death was really well done and one of the best episodes of that season. Artemis's emotional outburst certainly resonated, but I think it would have been more impactful if we got to spend more time with her to see how she will begin processing this loss. The fact that it's nearly the end of the series and we don't know anything about her character is pretty freaking criminal. Anyway, I just think they missed a better opportunity to tell her story, which would make the Crocks' loss more meaningful. Yeah, he's touching on some feelings I was expressing.
Yeah, definitely.
Another issue I had with this episode is the messaging. In most shows, the star either demonstrates and delivers the most important lesson, or they get taught a lesson because of their mistakes or inaction. In Courtney's case, her message of forgiveness and hope is in stark contrast to the message it appears she's about to learn, which is, some people are beyond redemption. The worst parts about that message, in my opinion, are the people who are delivering it. In Stargirl's case, it's a manic-depressive Starman, a still vengeful Yolanda, and an hourglass-roid rage... That's a tough one to say. Hourglass-roid raged Rick. All those R's in a row. Perry, come on. Who are delivering this message to Courtney. In my opinion, none of these characters have been incredibly reliable, meaning their opinions are nuanced enough to come off as nothing more than the rants and ravings of lunatics. I think a much better way to deliver messaging for the show would be for Stargirl to appear to give Starman permission to take on Icicle. Not because she wants Starman to kill Icicle, but in the hopes that during the confrontation, Starman would or could find an alternative to killing him. And even if he has to, Stargirl would know she did everything she could have done to prevent it. Superheroes can't prevent everything, and sometimes that's a lesson that needs to be learned, too. My last thought goes back to the flashback to Season 1 when Mike ran over Icicle. I don't know if I noticed it at the time, but that was a pretty callous line and reaction from Mike after he just killed a guy. And yeah, I know Icicle was and is a pretty bad guy, but taking someone's life should generate a different response from a kid. Yeah, what did he say? What was the line he said after he ran him over? It was some comic line about something, wasn't it?
Can I be in the JSA now, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this mean I can join the JSA?
So that makes Mike pretty heartless and cold and ruthless. Like, for a kid, he shouldn't... Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Well, those are my thoughts. They probably rambled a bit, but I didn't have the time to edit my thoughts as usual. Anyway, this is Perry White making another deadline, and I am out. What do you guys think of his thoughts? I mean, I often don't disagree with Perry. I think he's got some good ideas.
Yeah, I like his thing about the messaging of who's speaking to Courtney and questioning their motives and that kind of stuff. And I can definitely see his point about her giving Starman permission and then learning from that. You know, I definitely see those points. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got a good case there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't ask me to read Hourglass Roid Raged Rick again. That was really hard to get out.
Some fun alliteration.
Definitely. All right, after that we got Dad L.
Hello, Cosmic Crew. It's Dad L here with my thoughts on this episode as we build towards the series finale of Stargirl. I thought this was a good build-up episode. It kind of gave us time to breathe with the return of Icicle. Got to see how it all went down, sort of. How he had to take a year to kind of reform, get his consciousness, self back, however he explained it. But I think it was good. I mean, it was obvious, I think, to everyone that Icicle, he has not changed one bit. No one believes him. I hope Courtney doesn't fall for it. Courtney, she sees the Ultra-Humanite as the one they need to go up against. But, of course, we got the reveal at the end that they're Ultra-Humanite and Icicle are in cahoots. Starman is taking umbrage with Courtney's view. How can we go in with Icicle? He's the man who murdered Starman. But how about the rage that he displayed when he torched the barn? That staff was almost glowing red. We got some Red Lantern action going on here almost. Earlier this season, I thought there was something bigger related to Starman's return. He was angry. He was out of control. Is there still something to that? It just kind of makes me think there is. With this uncontrolled rage, of course, he knows Icicle's a murderer. I mean, that could be it, but still, I always thought there was something more there, and apparently there's not. And if there is, there's not enough time to explore it. The one thing I see that's a drawback to the Ultra-Humanite, we kind of got his backstory, that acquisition an episode or two ago. But, I mean, he's really probably not going to be fleshed out more than that. And he's a CGI character, so they're going to be limiting his screen time. Hopefully we'll get to know more about his motivation. Is he just a pawn of Icicle? How do these two get hooked up? Hopefully we'll find out how they came together in their villainous schemes. And then finally, I just want to mention Artemis, how heartbreaking that was. Her scream, what a great piece of acting on her part. I want to give this episode 8 Red Lanterns. Dad L, last father of Krypton.
Well, I like most of your thoughts, but the one thing I'm going to disagree on is the fact that this was a good filler episode or build-up episode to the finale. You got no time for that, Stargirl. You have 13 episodes in a canceled season. There's no time for filler. There's no time for setup. There's no time for getting us prepared. No, give us the writing, give us the stories, and let's end this on a big bang, not filler. No. You don't have time for that.
I have a feeling that the next two episodes are going to be Fast and Furious, because I feel like once they found out they weren't coming back, these were probably some of the scenes that had to be reshot and reworked.
Yeah.
Or re-edited at the very least.
Yeah.
I hope for a big 2-part finale kind of thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dreamweaver wraps us up for tonight.
Hello, Cosmic Crew. Dreamweaver here with my feedback for Stargirl Season 3, Episode 11, The Haunting. I'm giving this episode 7.5 ethical wishes out of 10. There were some really strong emotional scenes, and continuing back and forth on what's the truth, but honestly, it didn't feel like much happened this episode, or pushed forward the story, considering there's only 2 episodes to go. And whenever it got to the reveal at the end with Jordan and Ultra-Humanite, 1, we all knew they were connected in some sort of way, but 2, I could have sworn that there were still 10 to 15 minutes left to the episode, and then the credits rolled. That's how much I still thought there was still going to be something happening, because nothing much had happened yet. Anyway, the scenes with Artemis were the strongest. That was quite a performance from Stella this episode. It would not be easy to find your parents' remains after them being murdered, and then have all those reminders of them being gone by going back to an empty house. I enjoyed Barbara showing up for her, and now there's probably going to be 3 teenage girls in the Whitmore-Dugan household. Jordan making his rounds in town is surely flipping some sides, it seems, for the time being, with the McKenns now more or less being back on a somewhat good side of the Whitmore-Dugans. Though again, it's a bit too easy that the rest of the town just accepted that he's back after he waltzed into the American dream after the town believing he was dead. It's truly hard to tell what's the truth and what's a lie with Jordan. Neil Jackson plays everything so sincerely. He did say at one point that he didn't mean to kill the Crocks, and I want to believe him. I still hold on to that, but it's just hard to tell right now. And we all knew that he and Ultra-Humanite would be connected in some way. I know I said that already, but are each of them actually working on their own accord and together? Or does each of them have their own agenda, since we know that the Ultra-Humanite hated the ISA as much as the JSA? Or if there's any kind of mind control going on, still questions I have. We see that it's also painful for Jordan to be in human form, and for too long. It's taken him about a year just to reform fully, and I feel like there's still pieces to that story missing. As to how he got that mask he was using to help him heal, how he set up all those TVs, or if they were already there and he just found them. I feel Dragon King is still connected to all of this. And Cindy joining with Mike and Jakeem was a surprise. But she still makes me laugh, how incredulous and passive-aggressive she is, and how oblivious everyone else is to that. And I'm guessing she's joining to try to stay close to Mike to protect him, as a way of getting back into Courtney's / JSA's good graces at the moment. Then, Sylvester's story has been very one-note this season. His anger at the man that killed him, now also being alive. Understandable. But after watching him have outburst after outburst this season, seeing it again now just made me groan. If they had been building to this, then that's one thing, but we've seen him do the same thing over and over, and not necessarily even try to work on it. I would have much rather watched Sylvester slowly unravel as things happened, or that he's secretly pulling some strings, which have been hinted at a few times when he's talked to the kids, but it's mostly just been all over the place. And the scene of him and Pat jesting about Sylvester trying to have the last word all the time, it felt odd and too long, and just eating up precious screen time now that there's only so many episodes left. So, not the strongest episode of the bunch, but we are heading into the penultimate episode, so I'm sure it will get explosive soon with everything. Still feels like there's a bit too much to wrap up with only 2 episodes left, though. Anyway, that's all for now. Oh, no, Camney kissed again, and in a rather emotionally charged scene. I'm still here for them, even after everything. Okay, now that's all for now. So until next time, your friend, Dreamweaver.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling everything you're with, especially tonight, Dreamweaver. We're in the same emotional state about things. She made me think about something, and she has a very, very good point to ask, which again is, explain nothing. If Jordan is nothing but liquid water and he's having trouble staying in form, how does he get a mask? How does he set up all the TVs? Why is he putting a puzzle together? Like, none of that stuff makes sense. If he can't stay together, where's this mask come from that helps him stay together? And again, the puzzle. What the hell was that puzzle about? Why did we see that episode after episode after episode and no payoff as to what it was or why?
That kind of brings in the question of, the Ultra-Humanite and if they're working together and who's using who.
Yeah.
So can you see a giant white gorilla down in the sewers wiring up some TVs and everything for him?
No, honestly, no.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's just,
maybe the gambler is working with him. Maybe Dragon King is still alive. Maybe it's someone we've yet to see. I don't have any good theories.
No, me neither.
Okay. Me neither. There you go. Thanks for all your feedback, guys. Excellent as always. If you'd like to be part of the show like these fine folks, then you just got to send in feedback, and we'll definitely respond to it. Here's how you do that.
If you would like to be a part of the show, you can send in your feedback to Tomorrow's Legends Podcast at gmail.com. You can also reach us on Twitter at Tomorrow's Legends. We'd love you to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/Tomorrow's Legends and become part of the community.
All right, X-Force, what's coming? Not next week, but in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we have Frenemies Chapter 12, The Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pimbleton. Yes.
If that title's sticking, they're basically like, yeah, here's the title of the episode, Sylvester dies. Move on.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah, the weird thing is, they did not release promo images for this episode until the day of.
Okay.
And they released 4 promo images for this next episode, the next day.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, but they don't reveal anything. They're just group shots and things like that. But I'm what's going on? Why did you think that you shouldn't reveal anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
weird. Cool.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, and like Dreamweaver said, it's the penultimate episode, and how we've experienced on many TV shows, sometimes the second last episode is the best of the season, and then the finale after it is kind of gave it all to us the previous episode. Now there's so I'm curious what Stargirl's going to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Do we get a big banger of a second last one? That would be pretty cool. We'll have to see on what they do. So we got a week off because of U.S. Thanksgiving, right?
Yep.
That's right. It's next week.
Okay. So, what are you guys going to do with your superhero stuff next week? I guess everybody go see Black Panther 2. Have you guys seen it yet?
Yeah, I saw it last Friday.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I'm hearing mixed reviews. I'm hearing everybody say, yeah, it's good, but not as good as the first one. That's pretty much every single person that has told me about it.
Yeah. I've still got I've still got to catch up on Titans. It's just been so busy. I'm they've had 4 episodes, and I haven't got to see any for this season yet, so I'm going to catch up on those.
I did just download all of the newest season of Titans, so I'll have to catch up because we'll need something to watch. Maybe we can do a little bonus episode about Titans or something. I don't know.
You 2 of you will have to do it. I'm too far behind to catch up in time for that.
Yeah, well, I left somewhere in season 2, so I gotta refresh myself.
Me too. I'm somewhere in season 2.
Yeah. Cool. Well, there you go, guys. We will figure some things out, but that is all for now. Everybody have a great weekend. This is The Flash, signing off.
This is Harley Quinn. I'm out.
This is X-Force 11. So say we all.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, HBO, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network. Be sure to check out our partner shows, The Mandalore and Dive into DC, covering your favorite Star Wars and DC Comics properties. Thanks for listening.